Welcome everybody to the Questable Perspective Podcast, episode number 21. We have our special guest here, Mundo. How you doing tonight, sir?
Thank you. I'm doing well.
And always my co-host Jeshua. How are you doing?
It's all good over here.
Yeah. And what is it, man? It's been what, a week since we seen Gundam Seed Freedom.
Just about. Because it was
Yeah.
Tuesday night we saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did. And sorry, people, I did not go back to watch the English dub.
I don't blame you.
All
I
right.
could not. I couldn't put myself up to
No one blames you.
it.
No one does. It's a great movie if you've watched the series. But long story short of it, the English casting for this movie was not the best. Continue, Mr. Chris.
Yeah. So we're gonna let our special guest tonight kick it off and give his opinion about Gundam Seed Freedom and Cuck Yamato's adventures.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
hey.
All right. Before we do that, Mr. Mundo, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your experiences with the Gundam franchise.
Hey, y'all. I go by Mundo SD at Mundo MTG on Twitter. Not that I'm desperate for follows or whatever else. I met these guys primarily through fighting games, but I'm also just a nerd in terms of hobbies and whatever else. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it that vague for now. In terms of Gundam, I was kind of telling you this, Joshua, when we were like just chit chatting that time, I think. But my high school actually had an anime club, and our drama teacher was the one who led it. It wasn't student led, so like he knew the good stuff. My first Gundam ever was War in the Pocket, 0080, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll be upfront. Absolute great, one of the greatest in my mind, like anime period. Not just Gundam, but like anime period. And then for whatever confusing reason, because I didn't realize just how Gundam worked and alternate timelines, we had what do you call that? Endless Waltz. Very
Mm-hmm.
beautifully animated, but not a great way to get into the Gundam fandom. Never mind Wing. Um, and then it's been an on and off relationship where wherever I lived, if they showed it on TV, I would watch it. I remember, and this is absolutely random. I asked around 2010 when I was just like had time to kill. Hey, I wonder if Gundam is still going. Literally went on GameFAQs message boards because they had a Gundam board. Hey guys, what's the latest going on? And they're like, oh, there's this thing called what do you call this? Actually, I take it back. I don't think this was 2010. A little earlier than that. But they were talking about Gundam 00. Uh, I've been paying attention more to the franchise since then. But in terms of the topic today, and I'll wrap up soon, I promise. I'm not just gonna chit chat about
You're
this.
fine. We got plenty of
Um,
time.
Cool. Seed was one of those like shows I mentioned earlier where like I come home. It was YTV in Canada that had it. Youth television is what it was short for. Um, they had Gundam Wing like the normal series first, but they shuffled the hours around because they realized late how violent it got. And then for Seed, they had it much later in the evening. Um, I had a job in high school. I was coming home around midnight every Friday, and that was the show that was on after Inuyasha. I wasn't hooked into Gundam, but I still paid attention to the story beats. It was all right. See Destiny, I watched at work on MySpace, like I was telling Joshua. It was not all right. So, and that was back in 2007. And really, by the time I heard this movie was actually coming out, I was asking myself more, did anyone ask for this? Okay, yeah, that wraps it up.
It was the new main series at the time, friend. What were you to expect?
Mm.
It's not that. It's that even when you look today, Gundam Seed model kits still outsell all other model kits out there. That series prints money for whatever reason.
I have a
Even
lot of issues with Seed Destinies, Seed franchise. I have a lot of issues with the Seed franchise, but the model kit quality and honestly just aesthetics, very, 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 very top level.
oh, they've really been outdoing themselves as of late. I would say in the last 10 years.
Well, they're finally getting around to actually doing Gundams that we've been asking for a long time from Seed.
Well, there is the there's the new internal component system they've been making for a lot of the kits that make even kind of more interchangeable. So I kind of guess they're going for that build fighter esque part of the model kits,
Yeah.
but that's here nor there.
No, but I'm still waiting on. It's one model kit I'm still waiting on that. I don't think they're ever gonna do it, but if they ever do it, I will pay whatever price they ask for it.
Which
Which
Gundam?
The Gaia Gundam from Destiny.
I
Wait, are there
actually
no markets with it all?
No, they don't have a Chaos, they don't have an Abyss, and they don't have a Gaia. They never got model kits. I think they did Chinese knockoffs of them, but Bandai never officially did model kits. They just really started doing the Calamity and the Forbidden. They just
actually.
really just did those.
Let me ask this: the Gaia Gundam, does it transform into a four-legged
It-
mode?
yeah, it transformed. Yeah, it transformed into a Baku.
There's a high grade kit of it.
Oh, they got one.
Yeah.
No, I want master grade. I don't really like the high grades too much.
Okay. I mean, I was gonna say they do have that. And what was the other one you said? Chaos Gundam? I swore that.
I know they have. I think they have high grades, but they don't have any master grades.
Yeah, I only see. I mean, I think there's one other, but like the results for any model kits is like very, very minimal. And also just to refresh my memory on this, these are the Gundams the like pseudo
druggies.
coordinator people were using, right?
Yeah, the druggies in the second season.
Yeah, the boosted men.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's. I actually watched Seed Destiny in full compared to Seed, where I need to watch like the first, I don't know, 16 episodes.
Yeah,
But
you can skip it.
I'm drawing a blank on like what happened early on.
Kira got inside the Gundam and he was the bestest ever.
Pretty much, he was proclaimed Jesus of Gundam Seed. Basically, he just didn't die. Well, no, never mind. We get technically
He's died a couple of times and been resurrected.
by technicality, yes, he has. Let me rephrase that.
And like they did so much retconning with the Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny remastered DVDs is crazy.
You're not wrong. Huh. Yeah, there's only like high grade kits of that stuff. That's weird. Huh.
Trust me, I've been keeping my eye on it because they just did not too long ago. They finally did a master grade chaos, not a chaos, but Calamity Gundam from the first series, and I think they've done a master grade Forbidden. I don't think they did Raider Gundam, but I know they did those two from the original series. That's what it kind of had my hopes up that they were actually going to do like an Abyss and a Chaos master grade.
Well, if it helps, I don't know how you are for the it's the robot spirits, but there is a Calamity Gundam.
Oh yeah,
It's fully posable and everything.
that one? Is that the Metal Bill?
Oh no, I'm sorry. This is the Bandai Spirits Hobby Full Mechanics one. Sorry, it's one of the model kits.
But Mundo, what did you think of the movie?
Yep.
Um. Okay. My opinion that I stated before in our other chat, I kind of still maintain that. Wonderful, and no sarcasm here when I say this. Wonderful, love letter, tribute to the franchise and to all the fans, who have kept up somewhat with the Seed franchise. With some of the most amazing battles, some of the most beautiful animation I have ever seen. Held back by still one of the worst protagonist combinations you can have. An excuse plot that has a very thin premise that like falls apart very, very quickly. With an amazing, this is kind of out of order now. With an amazing mobile suit design overall, incredible space battles, all that stuff. But like, absolutely hard to recommend for anyone who has never dabbled in Gundam before. And that last part I really want to emphasize because I never particularly cared for Gundam, but War in the Pocket could hook me with the plot and the message it's trying to say, which has always been universal with a lot of Gundam franchises. Endless Waltz, just from how beautiful it is, can hook me. Double O, with its real world ramifications and stuff, if you will, could hook me. Like, there's bad stuff that could hook me. With Seed Freedom, I'm like, where do I begin with this? It's for the fans. It's for the fans. That's the best. That's the nicest thing I can say about it.
This is the fans that waited for like 13 years for this.
Yeah.
I mean, in all fairness, I mean, it was. I think it was worth the wait. I mean, considering setbacks and all that. Mr. Chris, what did you think of it?
Yeah. Like as
Are you there, Mundo?
you were cutting in and out, sorry.
Okay, go ahead. You're good now.
Unless I missed it.
No, you're good. Keep going.
You hear me?
Hold on.
Yeah, that's
So
you couldn't.
that's mine, but like you were talking over one another.
All right, hang on. All right, you go ahead and speak, Chris.
Not saying something Chris, I'm not hearing it.
Hold on. Hold on. Okay, Mundo, you try
You good,
speaking.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm about to say my headphones been dead. Now that I turn on my speaker, so yeah, I'll get like a lot of.
Yeah, my thing is trying to go haywire here for a second.
Like, you hear me?
A lot better, Chris. Sorry, Josh, what did you say?
The connection is being a little wonky.
Okay.
All right, let's give it a second here.
Yeah, please. Sounds soft. Chris, you're cutting in and out when you go through here.
Hang on, real fast. Let me just end the call and we'll restart it.
Seed Freedom might just be cursed.
All right, hang on. I'm in here. All right, Mr. Chris, you try talking now.
YouTube, but I'm not hearing any. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So
All right, let's all just leave the call, come back in.
all right.
Okay. Yeah, that Discord being Discord at times. There it goes. Chris, can you hear us?
Okay, y'all hear me now?
Yes.
A lot better.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. Small technical difficulty.
I might have to just use my phone.
Okay. Are we all good now? Everybody feel good?
You're still good, Joshua, Chris, are you good?
I changed the region real fast, so it should be
All
with
good.
us.
You're definitely a lot more stable and clear now.
All right. Mr. Chris?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yep.
A lot better.
Hold on.
All right.
Can I not switch you on speakerphone?
Okay. There's no telling what's going on. Discord might be just being Discord at the moment.
Okay, that's better because I had to switch to my phone.
All right. Okay. All right. Back to where we were. I believe Mr. Mundo, I think you were still talking about the movie. I believe you're
I
finishing.
mean, I wrapped up what I said about it. Overall, the movie is good, not sarcastic good. Like it did what it had to do in the 20 years they had to work on it. Just utterly incomprehensible and unapproachable for anyone else that I have a hard time recommending it to.
Like that one time we recommended Final Fantasy Avid Children to you.
Man, can I tell you something really heartbreaking to me about that? Okay, I'm not even talking about the movie quality. Let me make that clear. Or the fact that it was free on YouTube. Something that dawned on me, like one random lunch hour I was having when I was in my car.
Mm-hmm.
The person who ultimately pushed me to watch that movie was Broly Legs, because he was excited to watch that movie with his friends. So he was excited to rewatch that movie. I had never seen the movie. I'm moderately excited for the developments in Final Fantasy VII franchise. So that's why I went and saw that movie. Besides the fact I had nothing else to do that day, and it wasn't great.
I mean, it's understandable. It
This is fine. It's fine if you don't really know anything about Final Fantasy.
That's kind of like the yes and no. The only reason I even brought that up is because that Mundo's experience with Advent Children just reminds me of someone that's never really played through like 7 as of recent when that movie came out. But that movie was definitely made for like the fans of Final Fantasy 7. Just like Seed seems to be for us fans.
That's a good way to put it, honestly.
Mr. Chris, what are your thoughts on Gundam SEED Freedom?
I would agree with Mundo. Like, if you're a Gundam Seed fan, you're gonna like it. It's gonna fill everything that you wanted to fill out. But to me personally, you had pretty much 20 years to refine this script, and this was the best you came up with. Is that my main problem is with Lacus herself. It's like they make her so perfect. It's like she's infallible. Even when her and Kira are wrong, they're right. And it's just like Mundo was saying, like they're so boring. Like there's no conflict with those two.
What are you
It's
talking
like
about? There was.
it's more so conflict with is Kira going back through the same arc he had in Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
What it's like, why are we going through this again? It took I can't even remember what was the blonde haired guy's name.
Tau.
Al something. It's a 3-part name.
Tau.
I don't
Let's
remember
go
either.
with Prime Minister Tau.
Yeah, it's like from the moment you meet him, he's basically flaunting in his face that he wants Lacus. And Kira is so emotionally detached, and I guess that's supposed to be the main crux of his arc, is that he rediscovers his emotions after a while. Because throughout the whole movie, he's like completely emotionally detached from like everyone. And I do like the fact that they gave him, like the guy was saying, we were talking to those guys, that they actually dealt with the fact that he has PTSD from everything that's happened when Seed and Seed Destiny. But it's like he never really struggles like at any point in this movie outside of he doesn't know if Lacus loves him, even though she's giving him no reason to doubt that she loves him. So
It's
I'm
like,
like, what is the point of this whole thing? That's my biggest problem with it. Like there's plot points in there that I could pick out. Like, okay, why was Genesis this super weapon not completely dismantled? It's just been sitting there.
that's
Like,
Requiem.
yeah, Requiem. And then like, why didn't y'all dismantle it or destroy it? You mean to tell me it's still functional? And y'all
Are
just
we
left it
jump-
sitting up, and y'all just left it sitting on the moon?
so are we just jumping straight into story spoilers? Not that I'm against it for the record.
Oh,
Just
don't
it's been
worry.
fun to talk about this movie.
I'm going to put spoilers at the in the title or whatever. Spoiler warning.
All good.
That's all they're going to get.
Okay.
Because that's the whole crux of the movie is just basically Kira and Lacus' relationship. Everything that happens around them is just like circumstance. It's really just focused on those two and their relationship, and them finally having a little bit of conflict between their relationship, but not really having conflict because Lacus didn't really do anything. I could see if like this guy, he's so smooth that Lacus kind of she kisses him or something else happens that kind of makes Kira feel a certain type of way, but it never happens. It's like she's completely loyal to Kira. Like there's no, I just don't. There's no conflict there. The only conflict comes from the main character, the bad guy, who basically we have to make sure that we let you know he's bad because he almost grapes her. So you can know that you don't like him because of that. But it's like I'm not like I could go through a whole lot of plot points and holes and stuff like this makes no sense why certain things were happening the way they were happening. And at a certain point, you kind of get tired. Like the action scene, especially towards the end, it just goes on way too long. And it just gets to the point where you just sit back and you're like, man, is this battle scene still going? Like we've been here for like 30, 40 minutes and they still been fighting. It's like that kind of just it just kind of bothered me because I was just like, I really would rather have more story development between Kira, Lacus, what Atheron's been doing, because they don't really touch on Atheron too much. He just kind of pops up around the end, and I'm trying not to spoil certain stuff.
I mean, it's okay if you do. I mean, there will be a spoiler warning.
Like, okay, when they first pull up to this nation, what the foundation,
Mm-hmm.
like Kira, his senses go off completely. Like his danger sense goes off, his spider sense, or whatever. Like the second he gets there, he should already know something's wrong here. And like they don't take any time to develop the Black Knight character. They're just evil bad guys number 376.
No, what are you talking about? The
I
Ginyu Squad.
dare you or Mundo to say one of the names of the pilots.
I was afraid you were gonna ask that.
I don't remember. Don't ask me. They just generic Ginyu forces show up. I was like,
Because they don't develop them. They're just there. They're just there to be killed later on. Like they take no time. The only thing we know is that they're kind of crazy and evil. That's about it.
As soon as they appear on the screen, instant bad guys.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one name right.
Yeah, you probably had to Google it.
Well, I googled it to verify, but I did say Shura.
Okay.
I think he was like the second to the last one to die, but it doesn't matter. I mean,
Wasn't Sasha the Moonlight Valkyrie like stuck out more than them? And you two didn't know about her. I only knew about her because it's like some side film or side project.
Like, yeah, this movie is like if you are a deep Gundam SEED person, like you've been reading all the books, the novels, the side stories, the games. because I played some of the games, so that's why I recognized one of the characters that were in the background. I'm like, oh, I know who she is. But it's like, I just like after 20 years, I'm just like, man, it's good to look at, but don't think about it too hard. Because once you start thinking about it hard, you're gonna be like, man, that doesn't make any sense. Why did they do this? How did he survive? It's gonna start making you see a whole lot of plot holes and stuff that you don't want to see.
Turn off brain, go watch, enjoy.
And yeah, for that, but man, it's a pretty good movie. Like when you just don't even think about it, you just say, I'm just gonna enjoy the battles and the stuff like that, and I'm not gonna think too much about the plot. It's fine. But I would have, like I said, I would have rather seen more development with Lacus and Kira, more than what they got in the movie, and especially for 2 hours. And it's like it kind of flows really slow. It's like they try to give you. It's like we give you 30 minutes of talking, character development, battle. Okay, another 30 minutes of talking, Kira crying on the floor, battle. Okay, we're good. Now we're at the end. That's what it felt like. You got an hour of battles and an hour of character development in between those times.
They had to do so much. By the end of Seed Destiny, like, it was such a horrible, hilarious curb stomp by, Jesus Yamato and whoever else that, like, they had to do a lot of development for like character development in this film, and I'm just gonna say it was handled poorly.
Read.
Mundo, you a fan of Double O, right?
Yep.
What is Compass?
Okay,
It's
so
Celestial Being 2.0.
yes,
And we all know how that worked out in Gundam 00.
but it's double they were being manipulated. Like, your protagonist Gundams are terrorists. Compass is led by the most powerful human being piloting the most powerful Gundam. Gee.
But it's the problem that you're intervening in conflicts, and basically like Kira's crazy ideology of I'll attack anybody who's attacking someone else. So I'm coming in to save this army, and I wipe out their machines, they're retreating. Oh, the army that I came in to protect is chasing after. I'm gonna slaughter them too.
Okay, to be fair, his mind was being a little manipulated during one of those.
No, this is the initial battle.
Yep.
When they first come down.
Oh yeah. Well, he
Like,
tries to take everything on his shoulders though.
He's doing the celestial being thing. We're gonna get peace through war. And I'm like, that's not gonna work. People are gonna be resentful of you, which is what happens later on in the movie.
Yeah, because they try to bring back the freaking Destiny plan. Oh, I like that worked out the first time.
So can I give it a plus and minus?
Go right
In
ahead.
terms of like what they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
On the plus side, they make it clear that Kira is very conflicted with, just how righteous he really was in light of how awful the world was. I'm not going to say the world was awful, but the fact that conflicts are still ongoing, like, he does have that self-awareness, that self-reflection, that, maybe strong-arming the world with his powerful Gundam and his perfect self may not be perfect. Like, I like that reflection from him when he sat in front of his desktop setup, whatever, and he just looked exhausted. I'm like, Kira, I can almost like you as a character. Like, I wish we saw this even before we got into the tail end of Destiny, and I appreciated the movie for that. And y'all know I'm a Kira Yamato hater, by the way. What undermines it though is that we could have had this big philosophical discussion of, maybe the Destiny plan had merits. It does not, but maybe it had merits. Maybe I went about this the wrong way, strong arming my way through it. But all of this becomes undermined when, and to me, this is what a lot of the movie is, which makes me roll my eyes. A lot of this is undermined by the fact that ultimately, for Kira, it becomes a matter of, is this good enough for Ruckus? So it's no longer about the merits of the Destiny plan and whether or not people are willing to accept things, blah, 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 all that crap. It's now about, is this a good enough piece for you, Ruckus? And I'm like, bro, are you
That's what I'm saying. The whole plot, it always comes back to him and Lacus.
Well, I mean, the story is based around those two.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
No, that's poor writing.
Yes, there was definitely some
Their
poor writing.
story is basically rotating around two people and what they believe to be right. Because I'm sorry, in Gundam SEED Destiny, they were completely wrong. When they were just completely just jumping into battles and just attacking both sides and just causing confusion. I'm like, I'm totally with you, Durando. Yeah, you should have just blown them up.
God. Okay.
I'm with Shin. I wish he wasn't such a tool, but for SEED Destiny, it could be excused that he was a kid.
That's fair.
He's more of a kid in this movie than he is in Destiny. Oh my
Okay.
God. Y'all are trying to break up. Y'all are trying to steal this ship, and you're playing like you're a mock terrorist. Your girlfriend was about to blow your head off.
Ugh.
She's about to shoot you with her SMG because you're trying to act like a terrorist.
Yep, that was a bad idea for them. All right, here's my takeaway on this. All right, it's definitely a fun ride for the most part. Some of the subtleties. I mean, for relationships that happen like within anime or whatever, Lacus and Kira's, it was pretty much just a straightforward one. Everything's been pretty much, as far as their relationship goes, from Seed to Destiny to this, minor rough patches, but mostly smooth sailing. Biggest rough patch is when Mr. Tao shows up like, Kira, this is my bitch now. Get the fuck out. I'm gonna cuck you now.
Just go ahead and admit it. Just go ahead and say it. He cucks him.
Me and the boys here are gonna take her away. Nothing you can do about it. Then they try to kill him. And he technically should have died in that situation, but he didn't. But I want to pull something out, and I know Mundo is probably going to hate me for this one because my love for G Gundam. All right, the love. Oh, yeah, listen, I'm gonna talk a little bit about G Gundam for just a moment because like Kira's like a pacifist, great engineer, but ends up doing all this fighting. Understands love, but deals with. He's just trying to put everything on his shoulders. My boy, the King of Hearts, Domonkashu, had to have his other love interest explain something to him, which redefined the whole ending. Because the main love squeeze, has been with him the whole time. And yes, it gets very cheesy, folks, towards the end about love and everything, and I'll get to that in a moment. But that whole scene between like Domon and what is her name? God, I should remember her name. Not Rain. The God, what is her name? She pilots the Sailor Moon looking Gundam.
Oh, I forgot what her name. It's been so long since
I remember it, but anyway, she's like, "Let me tell you, magical spell." And it's like, "I love you." That fixes the whole thing. I was like, and it's stupidly hilarious, but it's also amazing. And I'm not saying Seed or Freedom tried to do that, but it definitely feel like it pulled some of that a little bit, because like when you get like Galactus and like Kira together, oh my god, that last 20 minutes was really good. And I know it was cheesy how overpowered the Freedom was at the end, but I believe that to be
that's just standard. That's just standard protocol for the Freedom.
Hold on. I believe when that final backpack unit got delivered to the Freedom, like that whole thing was, I think, a tribute to what's his name's wife passing, basically.
Mhm.
God, what is his name? Anyways, I think that was
But
like a big tribute to her, in a way. But I mean, yeah, like that last 20 minutes, loved it. But then also, it's like, activate advanced weapon that like null and voids things, invert space ray that shoots through everything. I was like, what the fuck is this? But I, for the most part, most of the characters are fine. But like when you start getting to the villains, these villains make no goddamn sense to me. They're probably the weakest part of the film, and I mean, if what makes your main character, your protagonist, great is the antagonist, because you have to have both. And if one is weaker than the other, it's just not the best ride in some stories. Just depending on how it goes, this definitely falls in there because you got freaking those damn knights. Some people.
like you have to admit, Joshua,
Oh no,
you're falling behind Rowler, Crusade, and Durandal
I
as
know,
your
yes.
main.
Yeah, and these people claim, we're better than coordinators. We are accords. I was like, what? That is your name? What? Hold on. You're supposed to be better than coordinators, and you call yourself accord? And you see who their like mother is. The Black Knights, the Prime Minister, and you find out Lactus is also an accord. She was, and I was like, I think she's just a coordinator because I mean, Kiro's engineered to be the ultimate coordinator. But you're sitting here telling me these random test tube babies and their mom, who technically was like 5'7" in her early days, like studying genetics, they show in these photos. She is now freaking like 4'2" and might as well. I thought that was a young girl, but no, that little person is their lolly grandma or something. I don't know how to describe this character. It's the stupidest one of the stupidest villains I've ever seen in a story. Lolly grandma and her test tube babies trying to take over the world. Oh my god. End me.
That was just when you were talking about that the last 20 minutes. I'm like, yeah, the last 20 minutes were good after we got through with Kira sitting over there crying.
Listen, I will take.
Am I good enough? Am I good enough for Lacus?
Listen, there are many and plenty of bad animes where the protagonist and the love interest have better, but at least we can agree from beginning to end, at least they had a story. Some characters, I was like, why are y'all even together? Because like I'm gonna go on a small tangent. As much as I love Double O, the damn movie almost ruined the series for me. It almost did. It almost came close. It came very close. I'm sorry, my love. I have to spend 80 years in space. Oh, you're an old lady now. Let me ascend you into. It's like we finally understand each other. What the fuck? Anyways,
yeah, but you know he gives her the L's, and then that makes her all young and hot again.
I know.
Okay, can I throw out a counterpoint?
Go ahead.
One of the, for me, coolest things about the relationships they had in Double O is that instead of just conveniently pairing everyone, they make it clear that some characters or some people are just like beyond being with somebody. Like,
Yeah.
they kind of sort of hint. Like, one of my favorite things, for example, is Setsuna, and I forgot the girl's name. I'll Google it later. But like, you know, they were literally only 16 at the end of season 1. Like, they acknowledge one another. They have issues, you know, like as people in terms of being sociable and all that stuff. But
Right.
like they try to steer them together. In Double O season 2, they have a great working relationship, and by the movie they've both moved on. Like there's nothing romantic or whatnot. Like Setsuna, based on the revelations about what kind of person he's becoming, which is I think the innovator. Like
Yes.
they make it clear like a relationship, like he has to do bigger and better things, well above like just normal humanity. And I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's the best ever. I'm just saying like the fact that they didn't just conveniently pair people. One of my favorite things about Double O. And for the record, like I don't from the material I've read, and by all means, like people can correct me here as necessary if you want to. But the relationship between I think her name is Marina and her has never been one of like a romantic relationship. I mean, yeah, I read that like he gave her the ability to, be able to see again and all that stuff and make her young again. But more so with the whole dialogue thing so that she can actually experience the peace that the world is committing to. Because one of the biggest things about the movie, and again, for the record, I ain't saying it's perfect, but one of the biggest things the movie was about was that humanity has to evolve so that we can communicate with other non-human species, you know? And to me, like the relationships, if you will, became in service of that. The issue I have with Kira and Lacus is that you have the valedictorian quarterback pairing with the homecoming queen while riding a Ferrari every day to school. I cannot. I have nothing on that. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. Oh, you have a gun too, by the way. All of the armament, Strike Freedom, and whatever, Mighty Strike Freedom at the end of the movie. You have all that too. Whatever you say, bro. Like, I ain't messing with you for multitude of reasons. Like, I'm sorry. Like, this is the most awful couple of people that this story has to be in service of, and that's why I just roll my eyes about them. Rant over.
I mean, it's fair. It's fair. It is completely fair. But I guess we'll go with.
Because me and Mundo are in sync with them. I'm like, they're too perfect.
I agree. They're boring, but I don't know. I'm a vanilla man. I enjoy my vanilla relationships. I guess maybe I'm just boring. I don't know.
Let me throw this out there then.
Like I said, it would have been a lot better if Lacus actually would have did something to actually betray his trust and actually cause conflict between their relationship.
Yeah,
Yep.
actually, now that you point that out, when Mundo said like he like Tao, I as much as I always hate these scenes being used for that, I wish Tao would have done something to Lactus, done something outrageous to piss him off, so he would like.
They're not gonna go that far.
Well, was
not
it
in Japan and not with that rating.
Well, in Seed, it was what's his name had to die at the end of that.
Like no, Kira will kill when it's necessary because he was trying to kill Shin when they fought. The first time they fought, he tried to kill him.
Just wanted to say real quick for the relationship thing, by the way, Joshua. I heard, and you can confirm this. I'm not gonna mess with G Gundam just because it sounds so cheesy, and never mind that the whole Tequila Gundam thing, whatnot. You ain't really talking about that. But I heard that the relationship between Rain and Domon was really good.
Yes.
I also heard, what do you call this? After War Gundam X. Canceled too soon, but the relationship between the main character and his love interest there are also good. I'm not against. Let me make it clear, y'all. I'm not against normal relationships. I'm just saying.
You just don't want them boring.
What's this, y'all? Like with this movie too, by the way, but also honestly, Seed to the rest of Seed to a lesser extent, but there were really no stakes involved by the end because I'm like, okay, the most powerful coordinator, the chosen one in Lacus, and now an experimental weapon that can upgrade whatever freedom happens to be out there. Like, I'm like, it became a matter of when will the good guys win, not if the good guys were right at all. And that's my issue with it. Like, again, this story is done a disservice with these clowns being the protagonists. I just roll my eyes every time they're on screen.
So that's a completely fair point, and I agree. But
Yeah,
now,
because like if you're gonna make the relationship the crux of the movie, then there has to be some kind of conflict there between them to actually make it, bringing it to bring it full circle.
that's
Like,
why. Go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
Mundo, this is why because you enjoyed War in the Pocket so much.
Mm-hmm.
It has that conflicting relationship between the
Fritz and
Xeon,
Bernie.
yeah, those two. You would love, I believe you would love 0083. It's in the same time span as, I mean, not the same universe, but like just time span
I mean,
of
it's
just how
UC,
short it
right?
is.
So,
It's short. There, like in 0083 Stardust Memory, there's a love triangle, sort of.
oh
You've got
man.
it's not like she fell in love with a Xeon pilot, then falls in love with the Fetty pilot. But and it's because there's so much stake on each side of this conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Because the main love interest, the lady, she developed Gundams. She developed one that had a nuke, wasn't supposed to be developed with a nuke, and then another one that didn't have a nuke. So, and then ex-boyfriend steals GPO2. That's in the very beginning. I'll say no more. But in the 8th MS team, the relationship he forms with the girl is a Xeon pilot. Her brother is a weapon designer for Xeon. They're trying to make a giant mobile armor. She ends up falling for the Fetty pilot in that one. And it's just such a conflict of interest between those two. But it's worth watching.
Especially once you get to that last battle between the Goof and the Easy 8, and
I
you see
won't
the conflict. Right, like, I'm not gonna say it's a really good basic
that
conflict right there. That's
that battle scene between Easy 8 and the Goof is probably one of the best animated battles throughout all of Gundam. I kid you not.
Meanwhile, Kira and Marcus just needed couples therapy.
I know, but I'm going to stop
Like,
gushing over these
that was
films.
some of the coolest stuff I've ever heard.
Right.
I just know I was happy when Arthur went up there and just punched him in his face and started
Bro,
beating the crap out of
bro,
him.
I was about to say, he didn't punch. He laid a beat down. Kira needed that.
Oh man.
What's
I
wrong?
still just can't get over that. I'm like, you're our commanding officer, and you're over in the corner sitting on the floor crying about whether or not you're good enough for Lacus. Oh my God, man.
It's like, bro, she loves you.
You
She
really
would have left
doing
you a
this?
long time ago if you weren't worth it.
I'm like, man, are we really doing this right now?
Listen, they wrote it. They did it.
So one thing I found subtly about the movie, in terms of what you were just describing, Chris, is like they kind of demoted Lacus and Kira, because like Kira still has the rank, but it's within the confines of working under Compass now, instead of being a Commodore within Zaft.
Right.
Lacus herself at the end of Seed Destiny was like the head of plants, then became the president of Compass, an entity that proceeds to be, what's the word, suspended. So like, I actually respect the writers for pushing them that direction, because I'm like, again, I already hate the characters enough for what they are, that giving them high ranks and so much influence would have just made them super obnoxious. So kudos to the movie for that.
Agreed.
Well, that's another thing. Who does Compass answer to? Do they answer to the plants and the Earth Alliance, or are they just like?
They answer to like everybody that was supporting them, pretty much, like Zap.
Yeah, it was a unilateral like effort, like basically we call this Earth, Zaft, an orb, even though orb is supposed to be freaking, neutral.
Neutral.
All
Basically,
three of them,
Or
they
all
were
three of
the
them, like, what we call this chartered compass. There's probably the more proper word here to act as the mediator, basically,
Yep.
against Blue Cosmos in the film. So technically, they answered to all of them, and they kind of did a shit job, as we saw in the movie. Although, I mean that in a good way. Like how they killed Compass, awesome. 100% can go behind.
I'm just like, that sounds really dumb.
I mean, it's
I'm just saying,
what do
it's
you
like
expect?
your organization, you answer to basically the whims of 3 different nations to
Well, they-
intervene in certain conflicts that basically are happening between those nations. And even though Orb claims itself to be neutral, I'm like, y'all have never been neutral. Y'all the ones that started this whole mess.
Well, I mean, I was gonna
See,
say
that's so one.
they were. Well, there's no United Nations or like, and so they just elected them. Yeah, you're gonna be our go-between. Make sure you keep us in check. That's pretty much it. Shit
So, yeah,
hits the fan between
it's-
us. You take the blame.
Yeah, 'cause I'm like, the second things go left, but they were quick to say, well, we're gonna suspend y'all, and we don't trust y'all anymore. I'm like, wait, they've been doing this for what? Because I think this takes
2
place
years.
2 years after, so they've been doing this for 2 years, and all of a sudden, this one little incident is like, oh nope, that's enough. We're gonna suspend you. We're gonna take your Gundams from you. We're gonna take everything from your money, your ships, everything.
The logic at least makes sense in terms of like how we got there. Like, I mean, everything you've described on paper, perfectly fine. So, anyways, in the second half of the movie, they proceed to hijack. Oh man. Um, no, but like, I'm sorry. Like, a part of me, and I know it was only 2 hours. A part of me was like, oh shoot, we're gonna do some guerrilla stuff. We might be bringing out older Gundams, but like, we're just gonna conveniently hijack something even bigger and better than the Archangel.
Mm-hmm.
Work with Orb, the totally neutral nation that has somehow survived being destroyed a second time, and basically just whoop all sorts of ass once we get to space. Like,
And
oh
another
man.
thing, why exactly do they have the Destiny and the Impulse? Aren't those Zaf machines?
Okay, yeah,
That is
that's a very good point.
that's a good question. I don't know. But then again, I mean,
Uh,
we had units from original Gundam show up. You had most of Char's units show up, except for the Nightingale, and then you had
Well, what's his name? Fukuda pretty much said like he's always drawn inspiration from the Universal Century mobile suit. That's why in Destiny you started to see like the Zaku warriors, the Goofs, all that stuff come back.
right. That one design though of the Jean, or is it the Queen?
The
G
Greys.
Gyan. How do you pronounce that? Damn it.
Talking about the Jin.
The Jin, yeah. That damn thing with the buzzsaw shield, that was nuts.
That's the one. That's the only thing I didn't like about Seed Destiny
Well,
is that they over relied on the old, like the original series designs of mobile suits instead of just making their own. Because I like the Jin, the Den, the Goof, not the Goof, but the Sagoo. Like they had a lot of good mobile suit design for Gundam Seed, and then they just kind of just abandoned them once Destiny came on. Because once Destiny came in, they were just Zaku warriors everywhere.
yeah. Just, to sell model kits, they probably just throw them in there.
Now I ain't gonna complain because I love the Goof. That's one of my favorite mobile suits.
This is no ordinary Zaku boy. This is a goof. Well, I think those are pretty much all my thoughts. What about you two?
I'm gonna pick it up on Blu-ray whenever it comes out.
Yeah, same here. About you,
I
Mr.
will not be doing it legally.
Well, depending on how much it costs, because sometimes Bandai goes a little crazy with their DVD, their Blu-ray prices.
Damn it, Mundo. It just reminded me something I did a long time ago. On a side note, I watched Stephen King's The Mist years ago. And it popped into the ears like, I'm not. I was like, this might be good. I downloaded it, watched it. I was like, I want my time I wasted. I want the data I wasted to download this trash movie.
I mean, the ending was good.
The book actually had a better ending. The movie ending sucked.
Well, I thought Stephen King signed off on the movie ending.
Stephen
So I heard.
King is I don't know. He's an overplayed writer. That's all I'm gonna say. R.L. Stein
His older stuff is really good.
R.L. Stein, man. If you not to like, I'm going past like Goosebumps. Go read like Fear Street. He's done, dude. Some of that stuff's really good. If you have Netflix, check it out on Netflix. It's actually really good.
I do have one side thing I want to discuss. I mean, for the record, I'm having fun just talking about Seed Freedom because just grateful to y'all that for all our issues with it, we're not just endlessly dunking on it.
No,
But one thing stood out for me for how lacking it was, and y'all can tell me what you want to tell me about this. One of the most comical things I read about for me it's comical, but honestly it's impressive when I look back too. In the production of both Seed and Seed Destiny, they spent a ton of money for the musical artists that were involved with the opening and the ending.
Yeah.
No exaggeration, I was listening to the opening theme song that we heard when the movie started, and they're launching from whatever the hell they were launching from. I forgot the name of the ship. The song is literally called Freedom. It's not by an artist I've heard of, but it sounds consistent with Seed. The song is very, very cheesy. It might take me a while to warm up to it, but for the rest of the movie, nothing else near that quality really plays. I mean, they even end up playing Meteor near the end, when all of the big final battles going through. But I was actually shocked by how lacking the music was. I mean, and someone used the right word here. The ambient music, it's fine, it's whatever, it serves the scene. But in terms of actual songs, there actually wasn't a lot, if any. Again, we had the opening one with Freedom, which I listened to work, and it was cringe. But there was nothing else in the movie, and I was just kind of surprised by that.
you're right. Really. You think you would have heard Lactus sing in there? I mean,
Yeah, I should have had an opportunity to.
Well, Lacus hasn't sung since what, Gundam SEED? Because she doesn't even sing I don't think, in Destiny.
You think you would have saw a flashback or something though?
But yeah, that's why I didn't even pay that any attention, because Joshua, he disagrees with me. But I'm like, to me, Gundam SEED and Gundam SEED Destiny has the best music out of all the Gundam series.
Okay, and I definitely will, because I mean it's up there, but you ain't beating some of those older themes. Just saying.
I'm just saying, you can go through Gundam SEED ending, opening, everything.
Mhm.
It's almost everything is a banger.
Oh, agreed.
Star Power too. I mean, I don't know how well familiar y'all are with who sang those songs, but a few of them are still big, and some of them were really big at the time.
That I know. I just don't remember the artist's name, but I know some of them were really big.
The only one I remember is TM Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
They did one of the songs. I can't remember which one it was.
So he actually did several, so much so that he was even a character in the show, and he died horribly in Seed Destiny. Yes. he did Invoke, the very first opening for Seed. He also did Ignite. I love it. The very first opening for Seed Destiny, and he also did two more. Meteor, which is again that dun 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 again dang dang, dang whatever.
Kira theme song.
I know we associate that with Kira, but fuck, sorry. The song is called Meteor. I like to think it's neutral, but you're right. It's mainly Kira who uses it. And then there was one more song in Seed Destiny. What was it? Vestige, which is a good title, but do not look up the music video. But yeah, I can at least like name 4 songs of his, and that's like how. And for the record, y'all, he's like immortal because I'm pretty sure he's pushing 50 by now. But like the Asian genes are full on in effect, and he's still a big name in like Japanese music industry.
Listen, the thing I've learned with Asians, I don't know what it is. Nothing happens to y'all age wise. Y'all look like you're still your 20s till you hit about the age of 60. Then everything catches up to you.
Gap, we hit that gap and we start getting shorter.
And no, I'm not being racist if anybody's gonna say a stupid comments. That's literally that is a majority of Asians I have seen from abroad to here in the US. They nothing happens. It's just I don't know. That's the same thing with my sister. She is going to look like she is 20 till she is probably either 50 or 60, and then like age hits. I am not kidding. Like even
like
her.
for me, I was sorry.
Oh.
But like the trend for me music wise, and again, maybe it's not fair to compare a TV show with what do you call this, a movie? But like
No,
the
it's fair.
openings in the beginning are like, hot-blooded shonen, whatever the hell. Then it becomes this big, almost ballad-like song, and then the end credits song are always so like tragic and kind of sad sounding and whatnot. And for the record, like I love a good chunk of them. I actually have them in my playlist, like when I'm working out or doing whatever else. It's part of my like anime tracks, whatever. For Seed Freedom, like you have the opening, which is just cringe, and I'm not just saying that because they're trying to force themselves to sing or talk in English in the beginning. But like the song is just, all right, we're launching now, and then there's like nothing else for the rest of the movie, and I was just like, this is kind of not good from them for something that like Seed Destiny has delivered in the past.
You think they would have really hit more on that from especially like some of the stuff they hit back from Seed?
Them playing Meteor made me roll my eyes, but I understood why. Like y'all said, it's Kyo's theme song.
Yeah, that's why we was in there. We was what were we talking about? You were thinking that this movie was finna come to an end. I was like, yep, because they hit Kira's theme song.
Yep.
Like that's it. He's finna die.
The villain's winning. Oh wait, what is that? That's the main character's theme kicking in. Oh well, we leave now. We know who's gonna win.
And the fact that Laka was so, like you were saying, she's so brave to stand outside the Gundam when the backpack locks in, and I'm like, yeah, you better hope it works because y'all have tested this thing. It's like its first run, and you're just out there. I'm like, what if it didn't work?
Game over. What killed me though is like the wings popped up on that thing. I was like, that thing had wings. What the hell is on that spacesuit?
Because she's an angel. That's why. She's
Space Angel.
Oh man.
Like I said, it's a lot of symbolism when it came to Lakers at certain points. I'm like, especially with the angel wings popping out, symbolizing her nobility, and she's pure and just and everything righteous in the world.
I can forgive it because, and I'm glad y'all reminded me of this. I mean, it was clearly a tribute to, I forgot her name now, but like the former writer.
Yes.
And that's really sweet. It's obnoxious that it's Lacus, but I can forgive it. There's something else. Hold on a second.
Mundo's gonna look up later. Lacus was literally the writer in the movie. Literally the writer.
And I'm just like, man, y'all really should have just started with the Mighty Strike Freedom from the beginning.
Oh, they could
Okay, so
have.
I think that's like actually what I wanted to discuss. One of the coolest twists for me for Double O is the fact that, I mean, for the record, I'm all for helping the arms race, the power levels between the people involved. Um, but the fact that, we started fighting with a lot of leftover suits at the end of Seed Freedom, as well as some suits that were, I'm going to say, mildly upgraded. Um, Like, did y'all notice that what is it called again? The impulse that Luna Maria was like flying with, like it docked with something, but I don't think they even named what it docked into. But it turned into this like massive, I don't know, anti-ship whatever the hell thing that I'm like, I don't remember the impulse ever docking with something like that.
Yeah, it had like the 3 silhouettes because it started with the blast unit, which was the 2 cannons.
Yep.
The second one was the sword silhouette, which he did in the first episode of Destiny with the 2 anti-ship blades. And then the last one was the I forgot what the 4th silhouette, which is basically like the impulse is just the strike. It's an upgraded strike.
Yeah, but like
Pretty
again,
much.
it docked. I know what you're talking about, but like it docked into something else before her and Shin like flew on. Like they just threw a random upgrade into it. And again, like it's how would I say this? Again, to credit the movie, they played with what they logically had left instead of just dumping a random upgrade out of nowhere. If that makes sense, like Strike Freedom coming out and getting called out for no longer being relevant, which is crazy to me. And becoming the Mighty Strike Freedom, I'm actually like really cool with that.
I just wish we got more justice.
Same.
It would have been cool to see.
Oh man. I got a quick rant. Sorry.
That's a quick question. What happened to the technology the Black Knights were using it when they fought them in the first time? Because they had like anti-beam shields because they were using their beam rifles and it wasn't working. But then by the time the final battle rolled around, like they like, oh, we figured out a way around it.
From what I gather, and we can Google this later, what a lot of it came down to is literally overpowering them by not relying on beams. I mean, okay, case in point, what's his face? Shin? Besides having the mental blocking power that I do not want to go over, I mean, was literally slicing people in half. With Kira, like,
Well, he punched through one of them.
Yep. But
He did two shin fingers.
Pretty much, when Shin got the Destiny, when they got the Destiny back, it's pretty much they had to use like anti-ship weapons almost on those nights. If I remember correctly.
Think about it. I think go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, because I know Fukuda he's paying homage to G Gundam with Shin, with him using like kind of like his version of shining fingers and basically punching through a mobile suit.
Oh. Okay, so all this talk just reminded me. Sorry, Jeffrey, had something?
Oh no, go ahead.
So all this talk just reminded me. And not to continually bag on Kira Yamato again, but I mean it's all happened in the movie, that's why I have to bring it up. The reason I'm not a fan of Strike Freedom is that while I would be very happy to have one and own one and operate one, the fact that it renders all other suits redundant is kind of a problem. So the fact that there's a scene very early in the movie where Shin wonders out loud, what am I here for if he's gonna do all the work? Like made me go, yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, you have a point.
There- there's
we
bad. Sorry, go ahead.
I said we're gonna talk about anything. That didn't really bother me. What really bothered me toward it was at the end when the Akatsuki basically tanks a blast from Requiem. I don't
Um,
even know what Joshua heard, but I said this is BS.
I know I heard you. I was like, what the hell kind of shield did he just use to tank that? He should have been dead.
okay, can I say though it's at least consistent with what it's supposed to do,
Yes.
and it looked different. I don't know if they upgraded it or had was carrying something else, but it didn't look as boring as it did in Seed Destiny, and I actually give them kudos for that at least.
I think it did have a few upgrades.
But like near the beginning, still back on the topic of the whole how redundant all other mobile suits are with Freedom, or in this case, Rising Freedom. There's this attack, like a tandem attack that Kira and Shin does with each mobile suits that they were using at the time, and it just made me roll my eyes because I'm like, Justice is supposed to be the melee focused mobile suit, but here you are doing the exact same thing Justice is doing as Freedom. Again, like, why would you make a suit that does everything? If this was, fighting games, I get it. You're the top tier character, I get it. But in this story, in this universe, it makes everything else look lamer. I'm not even gonna bring up the Mighty Strike Freedom. I mean, that's just at least we drew the line with that. But I don't know. Okay, I'm done.
You're talking about the scene where basically Kira basically solos like 10 mobile suits by himself just with beam sabers.
Yep. And then, but like again, there's a point when him and Shin work together on something, which is cool. Except I'm like, at least the way in C they presented Freedom and Justice, they're like supposed to be counterparts. You have the long range focused all beam weaponry guy, and then you had the I have blades everywhere guy. But honestly, the Freedom is in this case Strike Freedom or Rising Freedom is just like leagues and miles above everyone else.
Yeah, that's like why is Immortal Justice on the back lines with what's her name, Agnes, doing support? I'm like, he should be the main one in close range combat with everybody.
You're right. Also, there's I forgot its name, but that's such a badass upgrade to it. Which makes me wonder. Sorry.
I said, which one, the Justice or Immortal Justice?
Immortal Justice. Which makes me wonder what the hell was Atron riding then?
He had Infinite Justice.
Oh,
what, Infinite Justice Type 2?
Yeah. Damn.
Which I'm not gonna say. It's like,
I'll be right back, guys.
I would have rather them not destroyed the new machines, the two new machines.
Yes.
And actually use those instead of going back to the old ones. You can give Shin like because they have an upgraded Destiny. Like a Destiny, there's a different Destiny that they rebuilt. It's like a completely different color.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering why they just didn't use that one. Or just give him a new one. Because you don't even get to see Immortal Justice really do too much before it gets destroyed.
The honest play. Sorry, go ahead.
No, and for a group of Black Knight, the Black Knights are trying to kill them, but yet they slice everybody else in the cockpit except for Shin, Kira, everybody else except for the two pilots, the two TriStar pilots.
And I think that's what bugs me about the presentation of, like, in this case Shin, I guess, but also like just the we call this Immortal Justice. You're right. Like, these two were the top suits, at least leaving Seed Destiny. You know what I mean, in terms of by name and whatnot. But Shin was basically playing like fourth fiddle to everyone else who was doing melee. I'm like, what the hell? I'm still gonna buy suit though.
And it's like, well, he, like you were saying, because you said the same thing. I didn't
I'm
really
back.
pay too much attention. Like, why is he so bad at melee combat in the Immortal Justice when it's built for melee combat.
I mean, it's one of those things. It's like you're so used to one thing being given something else. You have
But
to
we have to assume that he's been piloting it for like almost 2 years now.
maybe, I don't know.
Because we don't really know how long Arthur's been gone.
Yeah, it's one of those things that probably should have been answered but didn't get answered.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of questions in that movie that should be answered. They just kind of leave it like it'll be fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Ooh. I'm definitely gonna buy Immortal Justice and Rising Freedom just because what they got from what limited stuff we got. Okay, I want to buy Immortal Justice just so I have an idea of what its capabilities are. I want to get Rising Freedom because what's his name? Kira actually went melee with him. I mean, okay, I know I said I hated that aspect, but at least they embraced it going all in with Seed Freedom.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If I get
it in my head, I lost it. No, I had something. I had something on my mind, and I lost it.
Sorry.
I may end up picking up, but it's probably gonna be the Robot Spirits if I do it. Not that I don't want to build model kits; it's just time and place and everything. I'll pick up the Freedom's final form just because it actually did look. Yeah, it looked really cool. I'm a sucker for wings.
Mighty, sorry.
I actually need to look that up because I think they did high grade versions of the Rising Freedom and Immortal Justice, but they didn't do master grade. Or maybe they're coming out later.
They'll probably come out later, knowing them.
Oh, well, I wish I could remember what I had on my head.
Well, I guess we can go ahead and I guess we'll go with our final thoughts. We'll wrap this up.
Mm-hmm.
So, gentlemen, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, what are y'all's final scores for the film?
As a Seed fan, probably like an 8. As a person looking at it from a standpoint of just the plot, the story, everything else, it'll probably be like a 6.5. It's just a little bit above average. I was expecting a lot more from the story, especially because, like I said, they had 20 years to basically refine the story before it was released, and it still to me had way too many plot holes and plot conveniences and stuff like that I didn't particularly like. Characters. My biggest problem with Seed is that characters don't stay dead.
Yep.
But if like I said, it'd be like a 6.5. I'm looking at it from a critical standpoint. But as a fan, it definitely hit everything that I would want from a Gundam SEED movie.
Fair.
Okay, for mine, I'm gonna rate it. Who asked for this over? Wow, I'm gonna buy all of the mobile suits because the battles were awesome. That's like my shortest summary review I can give it.
That's fair. I'll do like Chris. I give it a solid 8 as a Seed film. Outside of it, as like another Gundam film, oh brother, it's like a 5.5 for me.
I say it's a little bit above average if you turn your brain on while you're watching it.
Yep.
We have to do is my problem.
That's okay. Now you don't have to turn on your brain when you go to watch it again.
I know, because when I watch it again, I'm probably gonna watch the English version because I want to see if they fixed that little audio cue mistake they made.
They
What
might.
audio cue mistake? Sorry.
Like you remember when you saw like when they released like the first 6 minutes of the English version?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Like
but I'm gonna go check that out.
I don't know if they changed it because when I first looked at it, I'm like, they're launching. Kira's talking to everybody, and then he says, "Luna Maria, you need to do something." I'm like, "Who is Luna Maria?" Oh, you're talking about Luna Maria?
I
And
feel they
like,
may have.
and then I texted in there like, her name is Luna Maria, not Luna Maria,
Uh,
and immediately got jumped on by Gundam Seed.
I just want to state for the record, as of today, 14 May 2024, people are savaging the dub online. Uh, I know I've been bookmarking a bunch on Twitter, so I'll be watching those and probably tagging you too
That's
on
fine.
some of the. Because, okay, so apparently at this point in time, there's two sets of dubbing groups that handled Seed Destiny,
Yes,
and the original is considered superior.
yeah.
And based
Oh,
on what you're telling me, that's probably why.
because for whatever reason, like when they did the Seed remaster, they didn't bring back the Ocean crew that
Yep.
dubbed Seed and Seed Destiny. They went with some other dubbing company, and like if you ever listen to Seed remastered dub, it sounds like they just went in the hallway and say, "Hey, you get in here and just read these lines," because none of the characters sound like they should sound. Everybody sounds off. And I would say I got jumped on by Seed fans when I said, "Well, if you've made all this money, you've made what a couple of billion yen over in Japan. I'm like, so you're that cheap that you don't want to bring the original cast back just for this movie?" And I got jumped on by Gundam Seed fans.
Just ignore them. Just ignore them. They're just ill tempered.
Because I know because the guy who did Kira's original voice, he talked about it. He's like, they've had nothing to do with Seed since Destiny. Like Bandai has not chosen to come back to them to do anything. So I hate it for you dub fans. This is one of the ones that kind of like, I'll just do the subtitle. I couldn't do it. I can't put myself on the cross for this movie.
I mean, it's understandable. I don't. Some things are better dubbed. Some are better subbed. As for me for this movie, well, all I can say is, folks that are be listening to this later, enjoy it at your own pace.
And please don't. We're not just dunking on the movie like you said.
We
Like
love it / hate
you're
it.
a Seed fan, you're gonna like the movie. But like I said, you just don't be too start to look at it with too much of a critical eye.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace it with the love that came with the series.
You could definitely tell they put a lot of time and love into the movie that he did, especially because he basically, what's his name, the director?
Fukuda?
Yeah,
It was all
he
for his
basically said
wife.
like this is his, this to him is like the end. This wraps up everything in the Seed universe. He feels like it shouldn't go past this point.
For the preview that the three of us watched before the movie, I don't know if it's going to be in the DVDs or whatever else, they made it clear that one of the goals for this movie, if not the only goal, was that when you step out of the theaters, you will have a smile on your face.
And they were right.
All three of us were smiling, but maybe not for the reasons he necessarily wanted. I'm just going to say that.
Maybe we'll see. But it did make a lot of money, though. So, what do we know?
I'm just waiting for Gundam SEED Freedom 2.
Oh my god. Let's not wish that on nobody now. All right. YouTube land. Y'all have a great day and night or morning, whichever you may be.
Thank y'all for inviting me.
Oh, no
Yes.
problem. We'll talk to y'all.